you find this. This is just for, I'm reading it for today, but it's whenever you find it. So currently you are dealing with, I feel like you're trying to sort of mix and match some of your ideas here as well. When I see the Gemini card out, that is certainly a card that tends to be, it doesn't have to be that you're dealing with a Gemini, although it certainly could be. But it definitely sort of speaks to that energy around pairing up with somebody or building networks, anything along that line that's sort of working around levels of communication with other people. So it could be another air sign, more specifically, that you are connecting with, that's helping you to move into some kind of authority and a specific purpose. So I do feel like it's in around the home front here as well, and it's certainly something that does feel like you're leveling up in some way here. So this could also, again, because it's dealing with Gemini, sort of fall in between May 21st to June 21st is sort of the actions around the card, which would be you facing, sorry guys, allergies. Anyway, it's you sort of facing things that work around issues of the heart, issues, things that are close to you at this time. And it definitely feels like if there is something that's blocking you, where that could possibly be with the authority, there could be something that's blocking you that is in around communication to some level here, to some degree, even though you're still in some very powerful position here with the Chief and the Hearth card. So there's still a good foundation here. But what I'm looking at is, sorry guys, I'm going to just have to drink the coffee here. But what I do see here is you're needing to gather and sort of disseminate some information. So this is where you're helping yourself to build up something and able to become more of an authority in a particular area. So for sure, you are reaching some level of that. Whenever you find this, there is something that you're doing that is still moving you ahead. It is putting you into a position where you feel like you're more authoritative, or at least that you have more control over something. It definitely speaks to exploring other areas, possibly in around social media, that kind of thing here as well. And the card goes on to indicate that there is more socialization, talking to people, that kind of thing, that are more along a true equal sort of scenario here, that help you to sort of, build up, or at least figure out a way to kind of cross pollinate, develop something so that you can spread it over the network or spread it over the airwaves, or however you want to, however you relate to that. This is also in that area of self expression here, and it certainly is getting to the root of a condition or a situation, because there's a lot of cards here that overlap here. And again, this is still anything that you can do to cross pollinate, or, at least disseminate information. And in reference to the card, it would be sort of scattering the seeds. So it's you being a little bit more connecting in some way. So the challenge of this particular card does speak to things being a lot harder than you would expect. You have to really kind of dig into this energy to get a strong understanding of that. And certainly it's connected to the authority card. So you really have to dive deep into something and able to really figure it out. I feel like you might be at the surface level of something. You're sort of at the doorway, or exploring some of that energy that's just toward that entrance level. But you're being encouraged to go a little bit deeper, and then you'll be able to connect and see where how to unfold these complexities around a situation. So the gift of this particular card is that you have to maintain an open mind, and you do have, could be involving a sibling as well, as what the card sort of indicates, but it is still communication, unexpressed feelings, things along that line. And these are elements where you need to be heard, you need to connect with community, all of that. So that's where those cards sort of revolve around. And then we're moving on to the next one here, which of course is authority. So as I said, I do feel like in this particular, whenever you find this, it feels like you're trying to be more of an authority in a particular area, but again, you need to communicate, and more socialization, more network, more interfacing with people and things, and going deeper, like digging in more to really understand something. You're just on the surface level of something. So this is where you need to be more public. That's what authority is all about. So it is your relationship to leadership and relationship to other leaders. It is also where you're being asked to step up and take the next level, which would be more of an authoritative role in building something up. So it's, looking hard at a blueprint, and that's because you're starting to understand something of the blueprint. And basically, this is where you're able to act on it because you're going a little bit deeper. And again, you're still dealing with people that are more professional or more in an authority position. And this is where, again, you're being kind of heralded for. You are maybe a little bit more of a rebel in a particular way here, but in another sense, you still want to be safe. So it's kind of, yes, you want to be an authority. Yes, you have to dive deep. There's a bit of risk that's attached to this, but able to feel safe, you really have to investigate something, and not overlook something that, could be whatever the things are that you fear. Those are the things you're going to be investigating more. It's not the things you'll be ignoring, and that'll be how you expand something. So again, it's looking for the patterns on how you react as well to authority. But I think that that is the thing that you're going to be doing is basically you're not resisting authority. I feel like you're really connecting with people that are more professional and able to expand or grow something here. So this is where you're going to deconstruct any assumptions that you had, any fears that you had, and you're going to rebuild it in a way that has more of a stronger foundation. So it's not that your foundation is unstable at this time, but it can be stronger. And I feel like that's where you get your empowerment from, is taking responsibility for dealing with those fearful aspects of yourself. And again, it's deconstructing and able to reconstruct to make yourself stronger. So it would also indicate skill building. It's getting the training, whatever you need, certification, whatever's required, dive deeper. And definitely you're getting rid of the fears that you had around this picture so that you can present yourself in a more competent way. It's also, an empowering card so that you can step into the next role of authority. So this is where you can go forward with confidence as well. So the challenge of this card is not to be too bullying, not to be too overbearing, anything like that, because a bully is obviously not leadership. Leadership is where you're not overusing power. You're actually trying to equalize the extension of that power with someone else who is also in authority so that you can empower yourself as well as building on whatever it is that you're doing. So the gift of this card is that whatever you are trying to evolve at this time, again, is the next step up. So this is where you feel accomplishment, you are achieving something, and you're certainly feeling a lot more empowered in going forward. So we also have the card of Capricorn. So you may also be dealing with a Capricorn as well as a Gemini. Again, take it as it resonates. Could be people here that are coming through, or just, again, characteristics of these signs. Um, what I would say here too, because this is a card of achieving, and the ram could also be dealing with an Aries. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I do see the ram here, and that might be something that is relevant here. But it is a card of, kind of diving deep for sure. And they all connect, as I said. So you're needing to cross pollinate, you need to seed something, you need to expand it through other people, dealing with more authoritative people, those that you are going to, that empower you to empower yourself. And I feel like that's how you're going to achieve. And again, it's only through diving deep and really working on yourself, working on the dream, working on the skill set. This is also that again, it's kind of the Capricorn is sort of the half goat is how the card depicts it. Again, it does fall in between the areas of December 21st to January 20th. So if those time frames are relevant for you, take it again as it resonates. But it is also connected to bones and knees. And so it's climbing the stairs to achieve a goal, is how the card represents. So your action with this card is that you need to have a healthy foundation, which, again, strangely enough, everything is connecting here and in quite a strong way. Very strong correlations. So again, this is about needing a good, healthy structure, a good, strong foundation to build on. So this is what I feel you're building right now, is your foundation. You're building the foundation up so that you can bounce from a really stable place. Safety seems to be of some relevance here, and it definitely has a lot of ambition and drive and determination and willpower. And this takes a real strong focus. It takes precision. It does take, being really integral and really understanding your why, really understanding how it is that you need to build something is only going to come from tapping into, the dream world, maybe to get a stronger vision. You need to see it to believe it, that kind of thing. So it is a strong motivation. Like I said, really strong motivated cards here. And it definitely speaks to you being in the driver's seat, but it's also using those qualities and integrating them into a level of leadership. So you want to put yourself in a powerful position by increasing your foundation, so that there's not too much weakness around you that you can't overcome, because if you have a weakness, it will be preyed upon. It's part of the game. So this is what you need to do: build with integrity, set a goal, be motivated. And again, the card does indicate that you'll be able to climb up easily. Coming down will not be comfortable, because you're now moving into a space where you're going higher and higher and higher. Goats do not do well in flat terrain, so you're having to climb the stairs. Again, it's all around your foundation that seems to be where we're focused. And again, some of the cards or some of the challenge around this particular card can also be doing something without integrity, but I don't feel like that's the case for whoever this resonates for. I feel like you just need to control that tendency to be too controlling or manipulative, or letting your anxiety kind of run the show. This is where you're trying to develop a sense of competence in a particular area. And this is where this can be done, again, by developing your confidence, by developing your foundation. This is where you're using a lot of discipline and able to get there. So you can celebrate each step as you're climbing up, and that is what's happening here. So the gift of this card is that you're developing wisdom here as well, which is growing you, and it's a more mature level of spirituality. It is a sounder foundation, and you're a lot more disciplined in how you're proceeding in this current space. Last card out. Okay, so we are dealing with Vesta, and that is Hearth. So this is where you're being called to share yourself for the benefit of all. Your energy is going to be something that you're contributing to the greater whole of, of the space you're moving into, and it could even be just globally on some level. There's a higher sense of purpose, is what I would say there. Stronger sense of community around you, and it definitely speaks to because the action of this card, it's, evaluating your life. It's looking at your life in a particular way that's more task driven, and this is going to be able to increase your total joy because you're actually accomplishing those tasks. When they sit in the space of the recesses of your mind, you don't really feel the confidence, because there's no confidence building. It's still an idea in the mind. So when you actually do get to a point where you are building one step at a time, you can embrace those successes, and that's where you start to develop the confidence. So this is also, sorry guys, it's also that situation where, you're not going to be taking, just developing this here for a second, because the card kind of references this as a situation where you need to take sides, but or not a situation. Sorry, that I was going to say that didn't seem clear to me, because that didn't seem right. So anyway, yeah, it is. It's actually that you don't need to take sides, because you're trying to bring yourself back to center, and that's where you have the core values. That's where the things springboard from your personality, from your inner self, from the beliefs and the things that are within that help you to the subconscious level, oftentimes, where you're able to sort of build on something. It's basically, the card says remembering what matters. So this is where you find a calm. This is where you can light a candle. This is where you can say a prayer, a manifestation, whatever it is for you that helps you to bring you back to focus, to the center. And then when anxieties arise, this is where everything else will fall away, because you are tapping into yourself for the advice and into spirit. So you might be in a space where you're trying to kind of, when you do develop any kind of anxiety, I would say this is where you're being told to tap into that space to kind of reclaim that connection to yourself and remember what you value and what's important to you, because this is going to be important and integral to team building. This is going to be where you find when you know your sense of worth, this is where you're going to be able to bring in other people that are in a more authoritative sort of position. So it's having a sense of confidence and knowing where you stand. And then they know that you're coming from a place of understanding, and you can't, it's unshakable foundation, basically, internal as well as external. So this is finding that temple within, is what the card says is the gift, and it's a place of safety that you can return to, that's sacred. And there's also something that often comes to mind in terms of trying to find a level of inner peace. It's whatever your happy space is, whatever that place is that helps you to feel grounded, go there, whether physically or in the mind, go there and just breathe through it. And then, as I say, your focus will be regained, and you'll remember your sense of purpose, your reason why. It's about feeling, not so much about feeling good at all times, but about, because you can use anxiety, you can use those kinds of um, you can use anything as a superpower. It doesn't matter if you're bipolar. It doesn't matter if you're, when you're cycling high, you take advantage of those moments. When you are in a deeper depression, for sure, I would say, get some advice, and certainly there's some other factors that come into play there. But if you are just feeling through a lower ebb and not in anything that's really completely stifling you, then you can go and reflect in those spaces and write poetry or something that is an outlet for you. But for the most part, remember the happy space that you've had in the past, that you can bring forward in the present, that helps you to feel grounded and connected. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, these are really good cards. You are definitely stepping into your own here, and you will be able to advance this, and other authorities will be coming in to assist you, because you are starting to feel more confident in whatever it is that you're undertaking. So, I'm going to leave it there, Libra. Keep moving forward.